Hi. Um, Maybe I'll wait a little bit here for some people to get on, even one person. Or actually, I'll just start because I think most people will actually see this after this is already out. But there's my silly mug. This is my page right here. Gematria awareness. I guess I just want to start with the more recent, something that's literally today. Something that I've been talking about forever. Um, Not forever, just a couple years. But this right here. And I'm showing you my Instagram page just because all these graphics are already up here. It's going to take me forever to get every single graphic for every single thing that I want to say because I'm going to go pretty far back eventually. Not right now, but I just want to make sure that everything that you guys are seeing, everything that I'm doing here. All right, let's see if that's going to do that. All right, never mind. All right, yeah. So you guys are seeing everything that I'm seeing here. Um, this is not my write up. This is Golden Age Deception or Chase. So shout out to him for that. But this is something that I wouldn't really know too much about. I'm not really too deep into astrology, but I do just want to share this post because it's today. Um, so June 14th was a silent, invisible day marking Donald Trump's 80th birthday and the 249th Flag Day of all time, falling within the final days of the United States being 249 years old, etc. So exactly 1,280 lunations have passed of the moon lunations. So the 1,280th began on Trump's 80th birthday. And now today we have the strawberry moon on the day that the Large Hadron Collider gets shut off. And I guess I should have introed with that's the main topic here is the shut off of the collider. Not only that, but events leading into today, both in the sports world, um, the regular, just the world in general, earthquakes, devastating ones, and really unnatural amount of earthquakes. And they all kind of happen in a circle. And we're going to talk about why circles are such a big deal. Um, Today, as the Large Hadron Collider shuts down, and I guess I can show you any of this here. Oh, there it is. Maybe. The day of the shutdown, we have the Dodgers playing the A's, and this series just started today. And we'll talk. You'll understand more about the circle and why that's important. But 1988 is the day that Pi Day was founded in San Francisco, and the 1988 World Series was played between these two teams. And I think we can actually switch over to the standings here just to show you how funny this is. If the Dodgers were to win, they would become 29-16 away. And what did I just say about the circle and how the circle connects to everything with, the Large Hadron Collider is concentric circles. Um, Most logos in all sports, it seems like, are concentric circles of some sort. So if the Dodgers were to win, not Pi, they would be 29-16 on the road, and that's exact Pi numbers. And yeah, so I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but that's just kind of how my brain works. I kind of jump around sometimes. Sorry about that. I'll try to be better about that. um, yeah, so the timing of the current Pluto transit is incredibly precise because Pluto's orbit takes about 248 years. Today is San Francisco's 250th birthday, and here we have bridge collapse equaling 250. Um, bridge collapse equaling 128, and today is exactly 71 years, and we can actually go to that um, here. 71 years, 9 months from CERN's founding on September 29th, 1954 to today. They're going to shut off the collider, and that's the 128th prime number. I don't know how to hide that, but I promise the right here. Can I move that? No. There we go. 128th prime number is 719. Bridge collapse and CERN. And the FIFA World Cup final will also be on the date 7/19, July 19th of this year. And I'll talk about FIFA later, but I even have it right here. The World Cup was held in Switzerland in 1954, hosted by Switzerland, the same year as CERN was founded. And that's not an accident. Think about the goalies, right? Or the what do you call them? The goals, where they score the goals, right? There's a net, and that's the same with basketball. And the basketball, the NBA finals were extremely tied to CERN as well, in a really crazy way. Um, and I can show you that as well. I will show you that here. That's also why I pulled up my Instagram, because it just goes perfectly with everything that I'm gonna say anyways, and it's gonna be the same kind of graphics, right? But this is what I mean with how tied to CERN the NBA finals were, right? They were won by New York. The NBA finals equals 666. Um, computer equals 666. Internet equals 666. I didn't put that in here, but look at how Wemby was 22 years, 23 weeks old for the day that the finals ended, and those are perfect CERN numbers. And later, I found out that FIFA also equals 22 and 23. I have that post up over here somewhere. And yeah, just everything connected to CERN. Other spans to today that are strange, or maybe not even to today. Like this one is just from the date that the Golden Gate Bridge began construction, January 5th, 1933, to CERN's founding was 7,938 days. And now, why is that interesting? Well, because murder equals 79 and 38. But not only that, from the Gregorian calendar being introduced, implemented, whatever word you want to use, it was 70,983 days, and murder equals 79 and 83. And that's even more relevant when you talk about the murders that just happened. The 29-year-olds, Tay Keith, Brandon Clark. We'll go into those as well. Pi equals 29. Pi equals 29, and the murder numbers that I have right here, those murders are stamped all over their deaths from Pi Day. Um, yeah, so we'll definitely get into that as well. Lunation 1280, right? There's a lot of people that are onto this stuff. The Bavarian Illuminati today is 250 years, 1 month, 28 days old. Exact bridge collapse numbers. Now, does that mean that something's going to happen today exactly? No. But just the spans that we enter this shutdown with, and on the day that that the shutdown is happening, I mean, on San Francisco's founding date, like you have to think about how symbolic it all is. America's birthday founding date is in like what, 5 days. So, and that's going to be the 250th anniversary of this country as well. So everything is just happening kind of interconnected. And I've talked about the connection from CERN to even America. I've talked about that before. I think I can find that exact thing over here somewhere. I really want to talk about this post big time, because people ask me, or they're confused when I talk about the order of Q or what that is, and I definitely want to get into that because that's tied to Donald Trump so in such a big way, and then you have the earthquakes happening right after his 80th birthday, and Golden Age Deception, what he just said about what he said about the lunation 1280. All of this is happening in conjunction with each other, and it's such, when you see it through numbers, you can see how it's just so not a coincidence, right? How it's all perfectly numerically scripted out. It seems like some type of weather warfare is at play. Um, is the CIA really just an intelligence agent? Yes. Um, what am I looking for here? I'll be honest, I forgot. So we're going to go with this. Now, I was kind of saying that this would be the end of LeBron's career, but I think more what everything has been about, even with sports, right? Adebayo scoring 83 points on the day that America was 249 years, 249 days old. All the coding that we've seen has been about a collapse, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that LeBron won't play again. It was just it was interesting that a pie ritual centered around a death that was all about pie, apparently. Um, it was just interesting to me that that would happen on the same day that LeBron ended his career, and you'll see why. I mean, he's King James, right? That's his nickname, um, and I have it right here, right? The King James Bible was published in 1611, and pi equals 16 and 11, and we talked about this last stream. Um, King James died in 1625, pi numbers again, and the Dodgers can go 29 and 16. I want to show one more thing with the Dodgers later. Um, that's kind of crazy if they do win, but we'll show that later. Um, end right. So, and I don't know if you guys can really see this perfectly. It might be kind of small for you guys. Let me see if I can. Let me just see what it looks like. I think you can see the bigger stuff. Not bad. So that should be fine. But the big three of LeBron, Wade, Bosch, they were formed 145,800 days from the King James Bible being published on May 2nd, 1611, when end equals 14 and 58. And I did put Bush in here because, and you'll see later, the big three societies at Yale University are Skull and Bones, Scroll and Key, and Wolf's Head. And it's no coincidence that the big three, right? Miami, big three societies, that's literally their name. But the day that they were introduced, the day that the Miami Heat were the big three was introduced, the day that they had that whole, what is this? Oh, this is actually the day that LeBron signed, was the next day. That was 1611, 16,110 weeks after Yale's founding. So from Yale's founding to LeBron's signing is 16,110 weeks, which reads like 1611. And the King James Bible was published in 1611. Well, the day that they were introduced, the day that they did the whole celebration at American Airlines Arena, sorry, I got those mixed up. Um, you can see how they're both connected, right? The 1458, or at least how it reads here, the double zeros at the end, 14 and 58. So Brandon Clark's spans from CERN, right? This is from CERN to Brandon Clark's birthday. And this is also why I'm doing this, because I didn't even explain this here. And I'll do this regularly. I'll just forget that I put a certain image into these things, and then the caption just doesn't have any explanation on it. And then I'll look back at it later, way later, and be like, oh, nobody understood what I was even talking about there. So I'm here to tell you that Kobe Bryant equals 41 and 113. And I didn't put anything regarding that here. But from Kobe's death to the day that Brandon Clark died was an exact span of 75 months, 2 weeks, and 1 day. 75 months, 2 weeks, and 1 day, and Kobe equals 15, 75, and 21. right? And from CERN's founding to Brandon Clark's birthday is 41 years, 11 months, and 3 weeks, when Kobe Bryant equals 41 and 113 in Gematria. Now, Satan, Portal, and Brandon Clark all equal 80. Satan, Portal, Brandon Clark all equal 80. And I want to show, I guess I don't have a picture of Clark here, but Clark was number 15. So that's why the 15 is important here, because he's number 15 and he dies a span of 75 months, 2 weeks, 1 day from Kobe's death. And even from Let's Go Brandon, right? On October 2nd, 2021, and all of the stuff with Trump, even the QAnon, as we'll find with the Order of Q, a lot of the things that were within Trump's presidency weren't just, they were orchestrated, right? There was something behind them, like this, like 25 years, 1 week, and 6 days, being the difference from Brandon Clark's birthday, and then the origins of Let's Go Brandon, right? And then Brandon Clark dies somewhat tied to Trump's 80th birthday, and the span from Let's Go Brandon to his birth is pi. From Pi Day to Brandon Clark's death, and this is the one that we've talked about this too, but 38 years, 8 weeks, 3 days. Murder equals 38 and 83. Memphis equals 38 and 83. Clark and Circle match in Gematria all over the place. The 322s especially, but 32 and 40, right? The 80th triangular number is 3,240, and we'll talk about that with Oliver Tree. But I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, even because we really should be talking about the earthquakes first. If my laptop wants to work. Okay, so I know I'm jumping around a lot here, but let's do this one. Let's not do this one. It's this one I think I'm looking for. Yeah. So the day of all the earthquakes, right? The day of all these earthquakes, Japan, California, and the big Venezuela ones, Papua New Guinea. The Giants recorded their 89th win since 9/11. Now, I didn't put much effort into the graphics on this post, but I guess I can even show you guys. Come on, but oh wow, it's farther up than I thought. Here it is. The Athletics. Oh, this is actually the last day of the series. But even the last day of the series, right? 9-6. Um, in 1989, when the A's won the World Series against the Giants, the same year as the Loma Prieta earthquake happened, interrupting Game 3 of this series. Um, the A's won that series with a score of 9-6 in the final game, and even the 33 that the Giants end this series with is tied to CERN. But in '89, CERN CERN begins the web on March 12th, 1989. Right, British computer scientist Sir Tim Berners-Lee submitted an initial proposal titled "Information Management: A Proposal" while working at CERN in Switzerland. This document laid the foundation for the World Wide Web, designed to help scientists easily share research across global networks. or whatever they say, right? Um, and then in 93, CERN officially placed the World Wide Web software into the public domain, making it freely accessible and setting off a global technological revolution, right? From 89 to 93. And that would be the same span as George H.W. Bush was in office, right? George H.W. Bush. I think we'll see it here. There it is. George Herbert Walker Bush was the 41st President of the United States, serving from 1989 to 1993. And as many in the community already know, this person went to Skull and Bones. It's literally easily accessible on the internet. Uh, George H.W. Bush was a prominent member of Yale University's elite secret society, Skull and Bones. Following in his footsteps, his son George W. Bush also joined the society in 1968, and I believe graduated in 1968 also. But yeah, so everything is kind of connected with this stuff, but the 6.9 earthquake that was in Japan is the exact same magnitude as the earthquake was in 1989. And I keep talking about that earthquake, and that's what I should have really brought up. Let's bring that up. Oh, here we go. All right, Google. Why are you telling me it's a 7.1 now? It's always been a 6.9. Well, unless I'm losing my mind. It's going to give me the correct thing here. I like how I'm using Wikipedia as a real, as the valid source. Yeah, so it's always been a 6.9. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's saying that now. But yeah, I looked it up and it was 6.9 that time. So, I mean, if it was a 7.1, either way, it's just, I've always seen 6.9, and that's not an accident, right? The same day that the Giants record their 1989th win since 9/11 against the A's, not only do all these earthquakes happen, but the Japan earthquake happens, right? With a 6.9 magnitude, and the California earthquake at a 5.6, which I believe the A's were in Oakland for 56 years before they're moving to LA. I mean, Las Vegas, playing LA today. Um, Here we have the final score. Sorry about that. October 28th, 1989. A's defeated the Giants 9-6 at Candlestick Park in Game 4, right? The last game of the series. And the last game of this series that just happened, they also won 9-6. Battle of the Bay, the Battle of the Bridge, and then the earthquake happens. Um, I think this post is also showing how 1028 is a recurring theme. The North Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed at 10:28 a.m. The World Series between the A's and the Giants ended on 10:28. The designer of the Golden Gate Bridge, born in Oakland, died on 10:28, and the QAnon conspiracy theory began on 10/28, 2017, right? And that was all about Trump, and you saw everyone with their Q posters. The Order of Quetzalcoatl was founded on March 14th, 1945, in Mexico City. Um, in Mexico City, and it's an order that's always known as Q. Um, I have a better post on specifically that, and I should bring that up. But all those 1028s, 128s, this thing with CERN here, I believe Bill Gates was born October 28th as well. OpenAI was founded on January 28th. Um, yeah, everything is about 128, and bridge collapse equals 128. So that's why we talk about that all the time. Um, we don't say it just to say it. Like, it has a lot of just a lot of times that we see the same exact thing, right? Um, these things are really cool. But hey, Cassie, sorry, sorry about that. That's the baby. Um, Donald Trump was born 457 days from the Order of Q's founding. Earthquake equals 457 satanic, right? And all these earthquakes happen after Trump turns 80 years old. And I have this all really explained here, um, but I just want to go over it with you. Royal Archmason equals 80. Ancient technology equals 80. Solomon's Shamir equals 80. We can touch on that later. That's like more, it's deeper stuff. But the main thing here is Satan and Portal both equal 80. In the same cipher and circles make portals. Perhaps that's why they needed to have the ritual murders of Brandon Clark and Tay Keith lumped in to this ritual, um, because they were just pretty obviously tied. And the thing that I said about murder, right? Um, the murder span with Clark's death, and I didn't show Tay Keith's death, but that's also a murder span from Pi Day. And then there's a murder span from CERN to the Golden Gates construction being beginning. Um, and then there's a murder span from the Gregorian calendar to San Francisco. And if you see what I'm saying, it's just so many things pointing in the same direction, happening at the same time, are circled around the same topic, which is the circle. Um, because the day before the earthquakes happened, the Giants hit 1988 wins since 9/11, and they did that in their 6,066th game since Pi Day, since March 14th, 1988. And the 1988 World Series ended 4-1. The Dodgers beat the A's 4-1. Um, and what's funny about that also is that the day that Brandon Clark died, the day that the Lakers were eliminated, they stayed on 1988 wins, playoffs included, since Pi Day. And the Lakers won the 1988 finals against the Pistons. And Pistons equals 3-2. Um, I do eventually want to show, because some of the people that wanted to watch this stream, they were asking for me to talk about like a different topic, and I think that people want me to talk about sports sometimes. So I can go down to some other posts here and explain them better, so you can see what I'm saying with the coding in these games. Maybe it helps you code. That's the point of this, right? For me to help for other people to code, and just to kind of see things how I'm seeing them, because I know that I'm not crazy, says the totally sane person, always, right? Um, no, but I just know that all these things lining up at the same time aren't coincidence, because I've been talking about them for a long time. 80th triangular, right? 32 and 40. The Order of Quetzalcoatl was founded on March 14th, 1945. Pi Day is March 14th, 1988, obviously. Um, and 457 also happens to be the 88th prime, and Trump equals 88. Mexico City lies at 19 degrees 26 feet north. I don't know what that is. 19 degrees 26 something north. That's where Mexico City is. And Bones and Quake both equal not only 80 in the same cipher as Satan and Portal, but they both equal 19 and 26, right? And Bones is another word for Skull and Bones. They have a couple different names that they have. The Brotherhood of Death. the Order, just the Order, and Bones. That's some of the names that they go by. So it's just interesting that it matches with Quake like that. Okay, now that I'm talking about all this sports stuff lining up, I really want to show this thing that the Dodgers have today. We can actually check in on the score, right? It's happening as we speak. Um, oh, the A's are up. So it doesn't have to happen today, right? But it's just really interesting to me some of the stats that I see coming into this, and I want to show you guys just just stat news, brother. Thank you. So, first, like, I mean, this is even this. A lot of people don't know that they can do this. Just come into stat news, and you can put a team's record from 2,322 days or 2,223 days, either 22, 23, or 23, 22. Point being that CERN equals 23 and 22, and, and year use 9/11/2001 as a time, like as a reference point, right? I don't know that to be exact, but I mean, the Pi Day thing that I showed with the Giants, the fact that they hit 1989 since 9/11 against the A's on the day that the earthquakes happened. Laptop is ultra slow. You got it? Can you do it? Okay. Messed up. It's not playoffs included because that's 2308. That's another thing. There's playoffs included. There's not playoffs included. So that's the thing. Uh, Um, I hope that this does it quicker. If not, I can just tell you that 2-2-2 is what they enter with, right? So if they were to win, this would become 2-2-23. And now, why is that interesting? Let me just take off stat news. Sorry about that. I don't think we're going to be able to use that as a. I don't think we're going to be able to use that. Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, apparently stat news was about to ruin this entire stream. So let's not do that. Um, why would the Dodgers getting their 22-23rd win be really interesting on a day like today, tied to CERN when CERN is shutting down the collider? That was Wemby's age, right? That was Wemby's age on the day that the finals ended, right? And the Bird and Baguette incident that I always talk about because it is so important to everything. And I hope that I'm able to show in this stream why the Bird and Baguette incident is such a big thing. But French baguette, right? And Wemby's French. And 66 days from the bird and bread incident is when the finals ended. Um, Wembanyama's age from 9/11. This is where we're going to get a little deeper here. Um, it's not this one. I don't know what is it. It's not this one. Is it you? Yeah, it's this one. So the Blackhawks having fallen short 846 times since 9/11. Just follow me here. I know that this is weird. CERN, Geneva, Switzerland equals 322,115. 9/11 terrorist attacks equals 322,115. Dozen megathrust earthquakes equals 322,115, which I don't know if we're at a dozen yet, but we definitely had a lot, right? I have it written here. There's another post where I have the actual graphic. I forgot where that is, but Wembanyama, born in 2004, was born 846 days after 9/11. 846 days after 9/11. Eight. Oh my goodness. My throat is an agent working against me. At 8:46 a.m. is when the hijackers flew the plane into the North Tower, or that's what they say, right? 8:46 a.m. And Wembanyama is born 846 days after 9/11 in 2004. And the Blackhawks have fallen short 846 times, tied to 322, right? Chicago Blackhawks equals 322, all this stuff. I think that's why it would be really interesting if the Dodgers were to hit that number today on the day that CERN shuts down, because I even have it here. The Lakers 1988 in 1460, since March 14th, 1988. That's when Brandon Clark died. Tied to the circle, tied to all of this. Even Qualcomm, the Q car, right, in NASCAR, they're gonna have a car now. This is a new thing, but Qualcomm itself was founded July 1st, 1985. 32 months, 2 weeks from Pi Day, right? 322. Everything just, it's always the same. Um, yeah, so that would be pretty crazy, right? For the Dodgers to hit CERN numbers from 9/11 today. Let's see if I can. When Wembanyama was born in 2004, I didn't put that in here. Right. GTA San Andreas. Again, follow me. Follow with me. I know it might sound weird, right? Released 10/26/2004. Just missed 10/28/2004. They could have been more cheeky if they wanted to, but 2004. Wembanyama born 2004. The oh, whoops, wasn't even sharing this tab. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, released 2004. What we know around here, I got has my previous really bad searches. The San Andreas Fault that runs along all of California, right? San Bernardino, Palmdale, San Jose, Santa Cruz, Eureka, all the way up there, right? Garberville. The San Andreas Fault, right? GTA San Andreas releases in 2004. Wembanyama born in 2004. Wembanyama born 846 days after 9/11. Um, yeah, so all of these things coming together in 2004. The mascot for the San Jose Earthquakes is Q. For the San Jose Earthquakes, the name of their mascot is Q, um, which makes sense to a degree, but isn't that just interesting? Um, Tied to this area, right, to the Bay Area, that the the mascot would literally be named Q. Um, I just find that pretty crazy. I shouldn't have even done all that. It was right here. Earthquake's mascot made his debut in 2004, right? The same day that GTA San Andreas releases, the same year that San Andreas releases, the same year that Wemby is born. If you get where I'm going with that, that's tied to the order of Quetzalcoatl that I just talked about with Trump, right? All of the Q stuff, it's right here, right? And it talks about an earthquake, right? 457 days separate Donald Trump from the order of Q, the Q. And the QAnon conspiracy that went on during his presidency began on 1028, and bridge collapse equals 128, Aztec sacrifice equals 128. Order of Q founded in Mexico, right? We have the World Cup right now in Mexico and the US, but Mexico hosted the first game. Um, Again, it just seems like a lot to be coincidence, right? And then again, Mexico is the one that's tied to the 1926 in their coordinates, right? Tied to this, tied to Trump, tied to everything, right? Oh, and I forgot to show this also, that ground equals 79 and 83, right? Ground, like maybe the ground moving. Um, yeah, just all that stuff is really pertinent in my opinion. Um, oh, here's a picture of Brandon Clark with his 15 jersey, right? And then he's dead 75 weeks. What was it? 75 months, 2 weeks, 1 day from Kobe's death, and he's number 15, right? Kobe equals 15, 75, and 21. Mm, try to talk about this a little bit. All of the stuff with the 5'8", with 58. Sorry, um, Worms, Trump. Um, Here, let's go back. Actually, this might not be the right time to do this. It's important and it's tied to the Shamir and Solomon are tied to everything in a big way, but it might not be the right time to do this. Actually, what I did want to show, I'm gonna go way back. We're gonna get in a time machine here. Go way back on this page. That's kind of big. I'm not gonna do that. There's like a lot of stuff that I'm skipping over that like I really like. If I explained it, like sometimes the way that I post things, I think maybe it doesn't come across. But like the Disney thing, the A113, the fact that they put that in every single movie. Um, Here's actually what I was talking about without a bio, right? He scores 83 the day that America is 249 years, 249 days old, right? Collapse equals 83 and 249. And he also shot 43 free throws, exactly. Um, Caleb says he shot 43 shot attempts that game. It's real interesting. Is this going to take too long? I really hope not, because it's such a good one to show how long. I mean, actually, you know what? Maybe it is kind of good that this is taking. This is going to take a little bit to get to the exact post, so you can see how long I've been talking about this exact thing, and I'm pretty sure that I'm close. Yeah, how long the all leagues have been coding. There it is. There's the bridge. This is from December of 2024. Warriors lose, falling to 12-8 on the season against the Golden, right? The Nuggets, the Golden Nuggets. Another thing about gold, by the way, um, the dollar was put on the gold standard on March 14th in the year 1900, which is really funny, going with everything that's been. I mean, the Golden Gate, right? Um, Gold and Bitcoin. Um, yeah, which is real interesting. Um, so the day that the Warriors fell to 12-8, if I remember correctly, was, yeah, exactly 12 weeks after 9/11, when San Francisco equals 12-12 and Skull and Bones equals 12-12. I'm going to say that one more time and show you one more time. They fall to 12-8 in the same game, or on the date that's 12 weeks after 9/11. Perfectly describing, like, again, what I've been talking about, how none of this is coincidence. Skull and Bones tied to the deaths of everyone, right? Oliver Tree, all of them. But Kobe, Kyle Busch, Skull and Bones is tied to all the deaths because they are in order of death. So the fact that they would hit bridge collapse on the same day that is 12 weeks after 9/11, when that's a number that matches specifically with Skull and Bones and San Francisco, not a coincidence. And what else was I going to say on that? I was going to say something, but I forgot. But this is even more. So the Warriors, this was in their 911th game against the Western Conference on the road since the Loma Prieta earthquake. Since the earthquake. This is 2024. Look at how long ago I was talking about an earthquake, Loma Prieta, tied to 9/11, tied to, I mean, and then you have dozen megathrust earthquakes equals 322. 9/11 terrorist attacks equals 322. CERN, Geneva, Switzerland equals 322. Tied to Skull and Bones, right? The order, right? What's the number that they have on them? Damn. Sorry. 322, right? 322 is the number. Wow. Do I have that on the slide? I don't have that. The Nuggets got their 1028th win since 9/11 all time in this game. Their 1028th win since 9/11. Do you see how crazy that is? And then the Giants hit 1989 wins against the A's the same day that the earthquakes happened. And I just want to take a second to, like, I mean, what is the death toll has risen to 1,719 with over 5,000 people injured and thousands left homeless. But there's an estimated 46,000 to 50,000 still missing. And if you see the videos that are coming out right now, a lot of them are Venezuelans that are just at their end, right? Like, they're just really tired of not receiving enough aid. They say that there hasn't been enough help from anyone, um, or very few, right? That there's still a lot of people that could possibly be saved, but that they might not be able to save them. This number of 1719 might rise dramatically. um, in the coming days. And I mean, sometimes I'll laugh at the absurdity of the situation, but it's never laughing in a like, this isn't funny, right? A lot of the stuff that I talk about isn't funny, like the deaths of Brandon Clark and Tay Keith. None of that's funny to me, right? It's just simply me showing, if I'm seeing all this kind of web create itself, right? All this stuff about the circle, CERN, the bridge collapsing, Skull and Bones, 9/11 thrown in, Disney sometimes, Trump, all these things like connecting at the same time, right? Oliver Tree dying at 32 years old on Trump's 80th birthday, right? 80th triangular number is 3,240 or 3240. Um, and Tree died at 32, but Solomon equals 32 as well, right? Not to get too deep into any of that, but it's just this. None of this stuff is like happy go lucky. It just is what it is. This number might rise dramatically. I mean, the death toll on 9/11 was 2,970 something, 77, I believe. Um, it could go past that, right? If people aren't saved, if they're not found and they're missing, well, only other the only other outcome would be them dying. So yeah, all this stuff lining up, and then these horrible earthquakes happening in a country that doesn't have the infrastructure to withstand an earthquake like that, right? A 7.5 or 7.2 might not be as devastating in a different place, but Venezuela, unfortunately, the way that their structures were built, um, a lot of them fell, and a lot of people are missing. And yeah, I just, there's nothing I can say about that other than I hope that a lot of them are found. I hope that I'm wrong. Um, yeah, and as always, I think a lot of times it's better. The better outcome would be me being wrong than me being right. So now that we took forever doing that, let's go back up. Um, the same day that the Pittsburgh Pirates went 41-41, Kyle Busch would have been 41 years, 7 weeks, 6 days old. 41 years, 7 weeks, 6 days old. Skull and Bones equals 41 and 76. Remember what we just said about the 41st president, right? That he went to Yale, that he was a Skull and Bones president. And not only that, um, oh my God, I'm gonna kill it. Oh, the CERN connection, right? He was president from '89 to '93, and CERN introduces the foundational step for the World Wide Web in '89, and then they release the web to the public in '93. So in a roundabout way, this is all connected into itself, all the same, right? Sorry, Kyle Busch dead at 41. From Aleister Crowley's death to today is 4,100 weeks, and I want to show you guys a comment from one of the people that it's the other Jays. Shout out! It's associated with Chronozone, Dweller of the Abyss, uh, which is associated with Aleister Crowley's religion of dilemma. And in the occult, they believe that Chronozone is the final demon that you face before you reach true enlightenment. Meeting the demon causes an ego death, and you'll see the number 333 pop up all the time in death rituals. You just have to look harder sometimes. So that's something like I wouldn't have been able to tell you that. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But I do know that in Gematria, Crowley equals 333, reverse satanic, and Pirates equals 333. And this whole ritual here, right? The pirates look like the 322 logo. Pirates 41 and 41. Crowley's death to today's shutdown is 4,100 weeks exactly. 4100. Right. And if you remember, there was 333 exact weeks that separated Kobe Bryant's death in a helicopter from Oliver Tree's death in a helicopter. Um, 333 exact weeks, right? Crowley. And also stemming from the 322 connection. Um, so this is a weird one, but Demosthenes was a Greek orator who, when he died in 322 BC, that's one of the reasons, not the main reason, not the sole reason, but one of the reasons why Skull and Bones uses 322 in all of their imagery is because of his death date, and then they tried to implement a plutocracy in his stead, and that's interesting, the plutocracy thing, because of what we talked about at the very beginning of this stream with Pluto's return, right? The 248-year span between, and Trump is tied to Pluto and all that stuff, and Donald equals 322. So that's definitely there's a whole connecting thing with this. But Crowley was born on October 12th. Demosthenes died on October 12th, 322. And the thing about Crowley's birth is that it was 3 months, 22 days from the National League being founded. The National League of Major League Baseball, which basically led to Major League Baseball's founding. You could see it as the founding date itself. I kind of see it as the founding date because after the National League came the American League, and then we have what we know as Major League Baseball today with both of those leagues. Well, then I think it just stands to reason that the first league of those two that was founded would be the founding date, but you can interpret that however you want. The fact of the matter is that that was on the day leaving 333 days in the year, and Crowley's span to that date is 322. Crowley equals 38, 34, 333. Murder equals 34 and 38. Kyle Busch was a span of 34 years, 38 weeks old the day that Kobe Bryant died. I believe it's 34 years, 38 weeks, and like a couple days. It wasn't exactly this, but just the fact that he would be in his 34th year of life and 38th week of life, um, on the day that Kobe dies, right, is just so pertinent to this ritual because, as other people have pointed out, they both died at 41. KB, right, their initials KB. Kyle Busch was the 8 car. Kobe was the number 8 for a lot of his career. Um, that's going to kind of tie in this for me. So Hulk Hogan, as many people know, HH is like a racial thing, right? People that tat HH on themselves are being like white supremacist because that's 88 and Heil Hitler. But or they'll get the 88 itself, and then that's kind of in a roundabout way being racist. But yeah, HH are his initials, right? HH are his initials, which is the 8th letter of the alphabet twice, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. H, H, twice. And sorry to do that, but like I'm just trying to get you guys to visualize that. Like he was number 8, and he was the 8 car. And Kobe's career, in a way, was tied to the bridge as well. And I didn't explain that correctly at all. I didn't explain it at all, actually, leading into this. But Hulk Hogan died 32200 days after the Golden Gate Bridge opened. Right, the Golden Gate Bridge opened on May 27th, 1937. Hogan dies 32,200 days after. And from Hogan would be 322 days old today, after his birthday, on the day that the collider is shutting down. And I already talked about this a little bit, but Qualcomm was founded 32 months, 2 weeks from Pi Day and Circle, right? 322, Clark 322, Donald 322. the 88 thing with HH. Um, 88th prime is 457, right? Earthquake equals 457. That whole thing that we talked about. Um, all of it is connected in a weird way. Um, Connecting back to this shutdown today, and I guess I just want to show how much it's connected to pi, how much it's connected to the circle, because even the fact that we have the 88 World Series today isn't really saying it enough. Maybe 6,066 games since Pi Day, the Giants get their 1988th win. Yale's 322nd anniversary, right? Yale University was founded on October 9th, 1701. 322 years later, you get October 9th, 2023. Well, from October 9th, 2023, from the 322nd anniversary to the day that all of this happened, from the, and I'm going to say that one more time, from Yale's 322nd anniversary to the day that the Giants did a whole ritual involving the circle was 32 months and 2 weeks from Yale's 322nd founding anniversary. And why is that super important? Because of Skull and Bones Order 322 that comes from Yale University. 32 divided by 2 equals 16. So that looks like 322 right there, right? 32 divided by 2 equals 16. Heat equals 16. Pi equals 16 in reduction, right? Pi is the 16th letter of the Greek alphabet. In the Greek alphabet, pi is the 16th letter. That's also why it's 16 in reduction gematria. Giannis was traded to the Heat. Giannis was traded to the Heat, right? On the same day that all of this happened. None of it was coincidence at all. Um, and this also leads to the Oliver Tree thing, right? And I have a slide all about that. We'll get to this. We'll get to that stuff, which is crazy. We'll get to that later. But Oliver Tree, the day that the San Francisco Giants record their 32nd win of the year, when Oliver Tree died at 32 years old, on the day that Trump was 80 years old, right? All of this happened, and the Giants get their 2,722nd win since Oliver Tree's birth. And Skull and Bones equals 27 and 22, or 2,722, right? The same day that the same day that the Greek Freak is traded, all this stuff happens revolving the circle, right? Revolving around the circle. Um, an Oliver Tree ritual for the San Francisco team, right? An Oliver Tree ritual for the San Francisco team where Pi Day was founded at the same time as, um, or a circle ritual at the same time as they do an Oliver Tree ritual when Oliver Tree died, as tied to the circle as anything else, right? Like I keep saying the exact same thing over and over, I feel, or I'm just repeating myself. But I think that it's important that I repeat myself the way that I do so that people see that what I'm saying isn't just like, like it's not just it's not like something to be even scoffed at all. Like I've been talking about this for a long time, and I just feel like the events recently, again, that I didn't want to happen, but I just feel like the events that happened leading into the shutdown and the sports syncs that happened leading into the shutdown have validated a lot of everything that I've been saying. Like the 41 thing, right, with Crowley and Kobe and Kyle Busch, all that 41 stuff, the finals ended 4-1, right? Um, when the Dodgers beat the A's in the '88 World Series that began today, they beat them 4-1. Um, yeah, it just all lines up so perfectly, right? The 41st composite number is 58. Yeah, at the same time as all this happened, the The A's got their 41st loss on the year, and I talk about that here, right? How Bush was the president from '89 to '93, and CERN founded the web in '89, and then released it in '93. And Poetic Justice, the movie where Tupac is wearing A's gear, that 1993 movie, he goes on a road trip from South Los Angeles to Oakland, from Los Angeles to Oakland. And today we have Los Angeles playing against formerly Oakland, right? I really hope that that did. Uh, I hope that it wasn't not showing you all the stuff that I was saying there. But what is this with CERN? The shutdown that happened today. Uh, sorry, Javi Alexander. The shutdown that happened today um, on the 250th anniversary of San Francisco bridge collapse equals 250. Yeah. So let's see if it says it here. Yes, it does. So Tupac relocated to the Bay Area in 1988. In 1988, the same year as Pi Day was founded in San Francisco. And look at the span from his birth to Pi Day, 6,116 days, when Tupac equals 61 and 16. And the song, right? The song goes, damn it, I got it. Which one is it? Oh yeah, I think it's under my, don't mind that ugly face there. Stop. Tupac's line from California Love, right? Let me serenade the streets of LA from Oakland to Sacktown, the Bay Area, and back down, right? And the A's moved from Oakland to Sacktown. They moved from Oakland to Sacramento. That's where they play now. Um, I just think that's really funny. I don't know if you guys find that funny like I do, but for him to have the span that he does from pi day, right? And pi equals 16 in this same cipher, right? The reduction cipher of Gematria, 16. And Demosthenes was Greek, right? We just talked about Demosthenes and his connection to Skull and Bones. Why 322 is attributed to his death year. Um, that's the same day that the Greek freak is traded, right? And then pi is a Greek letter. So pi is a Greek letter. All this Skull and Bones stuff tied to the circle. It's not an accident, right? You see how it kind of all comes together. Um, or hopefully I'm explaining myself. I hope that you're seeing it the same way that I'm seeing it. I don't know how much longer I want to go with this. We talked about this one a lot last time. Um, yeah, I'm not going to that again. I feel like there's something big that I'm not talking about here that I should be talking about, or that I should talk about while I have you guys here, right? Another example of sports, uh, just being connected to everything, right? When Banyama scored 41 in Game One of the finals, and then the Canadians come into the Stanley Cup on 4,100 wins, the same day that Kyle Busch dies in Carolina, right? And they were playing in Carolina that day. They came in with 41,000 wins or 4,100 wins, and 4,100 weeks is actually the exact span that Crowley is from his death today. So there's a little more there, right? That's another layer that I didn't even think of until right now, just doing this with you guys, because Kyle Busch was the one that was part of the Crowley ritual in that Pirates game, right? So I hope that you guys see that's a great example of how, from sport to sport, league to league, how is it that things are synced this way? How would that happen without scripting of every game, first of all, right? To land for the Montreal Canadiens to land on 4,100 wins in this exact on game one of the finals. Was this the conference finals? This was the conference finals. And for game one of the conference finals is kind of crazy. Is just crazy. There's no other way to put it. So it just can't possibly be coincidence. And the Canadians led 4-1 after the first period of this game. Also, the Canadians actually ended up winning. Kyle's birthday is 113 days before Kobe's birthday. Oh, that's the one I was looking for, actually. Some of the best stuff doesn't come from me, guys. It comes from the people commenting, people that interact with this stuff. On May 8th, same day as the US government released the UFO files, when Binyama's the alien, a 41-year-old man died being partially ingested into the engine of a Frontier Airlines jet at the Denver International Airport. And the funny thing about that is that the 41st, what is it? It's the 41st composite number, right? Yeah, the 41st composite number is 58. All the 58, San Antonio 58, Kobe Bryant 58, Solomon's Temple 58, Secret Society 58, Pope Leo XIV equals 58. Pope Leo XIV was made Pope on 5/8. Bush equals 58. N equals 58. Freemasonry equals 58. Um, yeah, a bunch of stuff on 5/8. Um, I don't think I'm going to get time to talk about all of that. Um, this might be going too deep into the how do like too deep on this stuff. Maybe I don't know if I ever showed you guys this. The day that Stephen Hawking died. Man, I made this so small. Can we? Oh, we can zoom in right here. Bird equals 33 and 30. OpenAI 33 and 30. Stephen 33 and 30. Stephen like Stephen, like Curry, right? 30 exact years separate Curry's birth. Curry was 30 years old the day that Stephen Hawking died. From Stephen to Stephen, right? And 33 spelled out equals 66 and 60. And the Walt Disney Company was founded 60 days before Stephen Hawking was born. And Stephen Hawking died at 76. And Disney equals 76. Skull and Bones equals 76. San Francisco equals 76. And the Disney Company was founded on the day leaving 76 days in the year. The really funny thing about 19 and 23, this is why I do this, because sometimes I don't even think about things until I start doing them. If I'm not mistaken, with the win today, talking about 1923 tied to Stevens, right? Tied to the Stevens. Stephen Curry used to play in Oakland. A's are from Oakland, but they would be 19 and 23 with the win today at home if they were to win. And the A's would also get their 41st win, right? When Kobe died at 41. Yeah, but they're losing. And this is also a great example of how these games are extremely coded, double coded, triple coded, right? The Dodgers have the 22-23 from 9/11 that they could hit today. A CERN number from 9/11 for LA. And if you have to remember, the plane on 9/11, uh, Flight 11, American Airlines Flight 11, the first plane that hit the North Tower at 8:46, was en route from Boston to LA. And then you have the Dodgers possibly hitting 2-2, 2-3 wins since 9/11 today. And that's tied to Wembenyama, right? 22 years, 23 days old, the day that the finals ended against New York. Wembenyama born 846 days after 9/11, and that's the time that that plane hit the tower. All right, let me just say that web one more time so that I'm not like the plane The first plane that went into the North Tower on 9/11 was en route to Los Angeles, right? En route to Los Angeles. And today, if the Dodgers win, they would get their 23rd win since 9/11, 2,223rd win since 9/11. And Wembanyama was born in 2004, same year as San Andreas released, but Wembanyama was born 846 days after 9/11. He just lost the finals to New York. That first plane hit the tower at 8:46 a.m. If the Dodgers win today, they would get their 2,223rd win. Wembanyama was 22 years, 23 days old the day that the finals ended. And if you remember, also the Dodgers used to be in New York. They were the Brooklyn Dodgers. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? So I can see why the Dodgers took the lead back from the A's. But maybe the A's come back and win because they're supposed to get their 41st win today, tied to Kobe Bryant, Crowley, right? Crowley's 4,100 weeks old today, exactly. Um, the A's could go 19-23 at home, tributing the web of Stephen Curry to Stephen Hawking to Walt Disney. Um, I don't, I haven't shown you guys that here yet, but maybe I have it here. Maybe no. Yeah, fun fact if you guys didn't know, 60 years, 6 months, 6 days from the Trinity test to Kobe Bryant's 666th game, where he scored 81 points. That's pretty crazy. Can we get out of this? All right. What was I gonna show you guys? Please don't let me forget. I think I forgot. Damn. Damn, that was a good thought too. I do this all the time. I'm really bad at forgetting things. It was the 1923 thing with the A's and the whole crazy thing with the Dodgers were to win today. Um, I don't know if it's here. Is it this? Pretty interesting that the only two places that the Church of Satan has ever been headquartered in is San Francisco first, and then they moved to nine. They moved to 9/11. They moved to New York the same year as 9/11. Though they moved there in 2001. Um, really, really interesting, right? Huge shout out Golden Age Deception. Shout out all these guys here. All these guys. All these. This is a girl, Misfit Soul, but the illusion, numbers matter, ball don't lie. Myron is somewhere. Is in other posts. Myron has an amazing post on all this stuff, connecting everything. Oh, this one right here. He got game right here. This post is just the spiritual shade room as well. Look at how connected everything is from WWE to the NBA. Right, CM Punk's attire and gestures perfectly align with Curry and the Warriors. He also has a new shirt that has the symbolism of San Francisco's flag, a burning phoenix. Right, the burning phoenix, and that's San Francisco's flag. CM Punk began his WWE career using the theme song from the group Killswitch. The same group will be on tour this summer with its last show in San Francisco. The final show was 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago in San Francisco, right? Bethlehem steel is what's used on the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't think I have it here, but sometimes I like showing people things like this on these streams because I feel like I talk about this a lot, but people don't understand how crazy the connection is. Or maybe they do, but they just don't have the context of This 50-year, 113-day span from Tesla's death to the web being released, when Tesla's main quote, right, is about the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9. The Baphomet equals 113, 50, and 369 Latin. As we found in other on another post, Nicola, humans equals 369 Latin as well. Humans, right? Kobe Bryant equals 113 and 369. King Rollo. So Isigny sur Mer was is the namesake of the Disney family. It became it, right? Then it became D Isigny, which means that that's where the name originates from. Um, Disney is D Isigny, which was from Isigny. I know that that sounds weird, but it's in Normandy, France. And the Viking leader Rollo, uh, the first king, um, became king in 911 AD. 911. King Rollo equals 113 and 50. The whole web with Disney, I feel like maybe now there's some people that would maybe understand me more with that whole thing. It's something that I truly don't think ever got that much attention. Maybe because I was kind of just starting to really post again at that time, but kind of starts here. Right, the Disney surname is derived from the town Isigny-sur-Mer. The earliest known ancestor of Walt Disney with a similar name was Jean Christophe d'Isigny. So then that became Disney, right? D'Isigny to Disney. William the Conqueror was born in 1028, the year 1028, and had military commanders named d'Isigny who came over with William in 1066. Right? Charles the Simple, or Charles III, died in the year 929. CERN was founded 920 on the date September 29th. CERN and Revelation 911 is something that's, Shiva is outside of CERN, the goddess of creation and destruction. Um, there's a whole other thing with that. You know, I start from too far from if I don't start from the right place, it's obviously not gonna be understood, right? Yes. There's 2322 again, right? But this time it's from CERN to Thor Ragnarok, and yeah, that's tied to what I didn't get to here. Vikings, right? Vikings and Rollo, King Rollo. 9/11 is when the Treaty of Saint Clair sur Epte was signed, right? The year 9/11. Oh, I do have that here. Wow, I really should have stuck with this a little longer. From September of 9/11, the reign of Charles the Simple, right? The first king of the place that ended up becoming Disney's namesake was in September of 9/11, and then he died in 929. The year 929, when CERN was founded, 929, 1954. King equals 23 and 22. CERN equals 22 and 23. From CERN's founding to the release of Thor Ragnarok was 23,022 days, right? 23, 22. From CERN to Thor. What's funny is the people that died on September 11th, 2,996. And that's the same square kilometers, the same area in square kilometers of Normandy, right? The same area of square kilometers in Normandy where the first king was born September of the year 9/11. September of the year 9/11, the first king in Normandy, right? Or not the king of an area of Normandy. This area. It's just it's so exact, right? This right here, Marvel Entertainment equals 113. Brad Bird is widely credited as the first person to use A113 as an Easter egg. Walt Disney Company purchased Marvel Entertainment. Uh, yeah, so Walt Disney is kind of the owner of Marvel Entertainment. Um, I'll probably have to talk about this in a stream later, um, but I really think everyone that, if anyone was on this, listening to this at all, um, if anyone wants to hear more about the Disney web, I'll definitely get into that more later. But for now, I think I've already yapped long enough. I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from with a lot of what I'm saying. Um, I'm an hour and 26 minutes in. Let's definitely not end at 126. Let's try to get to 27. Just because I don't want to end at 128 either. But yeah, just the fact that the Dodgers are playing the A's today, right? The circle tied to Tay Keith, Oliver Tree, um, Tay Keith, Oliver Tree, Brandon Clark. I didn't even talk about Charles Guillemot, the Frenchman that died. Also, I should have talked about him, but I didn't. Um, Everything tied to the circle, and then today on the shutdown we have the Dodgers and A's playing, which I've said for the 30th time. But thanks again for everyone that was here. Yeah, I hope to do this a little more often, but yeah, maybe I'm not doing it correctly. But thank you guys, anyone that listens to this. See ya.